Well, today's August 9th, and I'm here on Saltspring Island for an annual event that takes place to mark the anniversary date of the 1945 nuclear blasts that devastated Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Today is August 9th, which is the anniversary of the Nagasaki destruction. And so people around the world gather to remember, to ensure that we never again face the specter of nuclear war. For my talk today in Ganges, I plan to talk about the fact that Canada has gone offside in terms of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. We've actually weakened the global agreement to get rid of nuclear weapons for military purposes by agreeing to ignore the fact that we're trading nuclear technology with India, which is a country that had violated the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty when it bought a nuclear research reactor from Canada and used the spent fuel from that reactor to make a nuclear weapon. So nuclear non-proliferation remains a very important issue. Canada hasn't been fulfilling our traditional role as a country that insisted that we stand firmly for the destruction of nuclear weapons, for an end to nuclear war, to pursue a fissile materials treaty, which we don't have yet, and to enforce the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. We're also right now mindful when anyone thinks of Japan in the context of nuclear radiation of the Fukushima disaster and the fact that that reactor is still leaking, that radiation is still a factor in the immediate environment, and that recently we learned that there had been a spike in radioactive iodine-131 detected basically right here in Sydney, British Columbia, and not revealed until very recently, and not revealed by our government. So the issues of nuclear welfare, nuclear safety require that we also move away from nuclear reactors for electricity, and that we ensure that we say no more to nuclear weapons. The two are never separate as issues. The entire domestic nuclear electricity industry was created at the time that the US government wanted to find some peaceful use of the atom in order to justify the ongoing nuclear weapons program. Nuclear reactors would never have been built anywhere in the world, except that initially, certainly the United States provided a lot of support to private sector companies to build reactors, but to have their insurable losses held to a very, very low number, because any private sector company that looked at the risks of nuclear realized they could never pay out the losses if there was a nuclear accident. Canada similarly also has a Nuclear Liability Act, which holds losses from nuclear accidents at a very low level. These are all things that I'll be working on in the House of Commons and moving towards Canada. At this point, we've sold Atomic Energy of Canada Limited for a song, but the reality is that we're still saddled with the nuclear waste. We need to change the Nuclear Liability Act. Now that a private sector company is owning AECL, we need to make sure that we raise those insurable limits to a level that's realistic so that Canadians are also not exposed to nuclear accidents with ridiculously low limits on liability. So today, August 9th, the anniversary of the bomb blast in Nagasaki, we'll pause and remember. I'm wearing the white colors of mourning that are worn in Japan. Mourning colors are white in Japan, and that's the gathering that will be at Peace Park in Ganges in a few minutes to mark the anniversary date of the horrific act of war, the most devastating single act of war in the history of humanity. Thank you.